and finish off this grand finals.
I don't know which one is more impressive, winning on blue side or winning the tournament.
Honest to God, it's tough. It's really been tough because it feels like, you know, red side is so good for both of these teams. They have a very good idea of what they want to actually whip out in the draft. I do think that, you know, the Tro pick for the side of Euphoria, a little bit awkward. The Paquito especially, but then again, I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me to say that Paquito probably wasn't the best option.
And we saw the same pattern for Euphoria in Game 4 as we did in Game 2, right? They just don't feel as comfortable on running that draft, right? You look at Game 2, it was a Franco, a Kagura. In Game 4, it was a Paquito, a Fredrin. They don't feel like they're in their skin. That deviation felt a bit weird.
It does, but here we go. Final draft of the grand finals here, and we're expecting to see the exact same things. We're expecting to see the Wanwan, we're expecting to see the Kaja at this point. Kufra as well, something to consider for GameLab.
Yeah, if you have supper plans, bring it back home, right? If your kids want to stay up, just tell them that even though Cinderella will lose her glass heels in like 7 minutes, this grand finals is the most important one of all.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I respect that. I respect that. Farm is going to get banned out as well for the side of Euphoria. GameLab looking to respond. What's it going to be? Is it going to be Fanny, similar to what Euphoria was banning out in game number 4? Or are they going to push this momentum and say, hey, you know what? Take the Fanny.
There could still be a chance Euphoria bans the Fanny if it gets let through by GameLab, right? It feels like they haven't been really been liking the Fanny after losing Game 2. Could just be me though. The glue getting banned, so Joy Fanny now on the table.
All right. Somebody, let's see whether Euphoria, are they going to adapt in the bans or with their selection? Let's find out. They've got 40 more seconds to talk about it. Okay, they ban out the Fanny once more. This should be a very typical, what's it called?
It's a Joy pick, right?
Oh! I was going to say either Valentina, Joy, or Arla here, but the fact that they went straight with Grok begs the question. Euphoria Esports, yep, they're not going to go with our artillery mage. They're instantly going to go for the Joy, and as well as the Valentina. I like where Euphoria's head is at.
Honestly, aside from all 4 games have been red side wins, all 4 games also had Grok in them.
That's a good observation here. I didn't think of it until right now, and maybe it could be that impactful. I could be wrong about this because it feels like GameLab has been setting up for this Farsa right at the very beginning of this draft. And Euphoria Esports, they respect it. They're like, okay, we don't have the counter pick to it. We don't want to lock in an early Claude. So the best that we can do is is making sure that we have the Valentina this time round.
And with that being said, I think Hauker is surely going to get banned out by GameLab, right?
No, it gets picked right here. Right here. Right now. Come on, Euphoria. Come on.
Do you want to do it? Do they
want to do it? Honestly, it's really risky to do it.
They actually went for it.
They actually went for it. Now, the risky part about all of this, right, is the fact that GameLab could be like, well, it kind of sucks that we've already shown our hand in terms of what Havas is going to be playing, as well as what Dokman is going to be playing. If we had a flex pick, we could have responded to this with like a potential Hilda to interrupt the farm from Helker. But Grok, he's going to do the exact same thing. He's going to invade the jungle. He's going to try and get early retributions out of this Helker.
Is the application for the Helkers the same, right? When you looked at game 3? Yeah, game 3, you know, Helker, the passive silence really messes up heroes like Fredrin and Ruby. But in this case, is GameLab as worried as they should be?
Well, I mean, if their entire composition is designed around this Farsa, then yes, it's a huge problem because Feathered Airstrike are going to be ineffective every time it's being utilized in comparison to Euphoria, who just has to expand one ultimate and then keep power farming for the rest of the game. As much as the Feathered Airstrike is great, it doesn't have aim assist when the lights have been turned off.
And Euphoria can even steal the Feathered Airstrike, right?
Exactly. So you're blind and you get hit by artillery, and you don't even know where the artillery is coming from.
Euphoria Esports now responding by banning out the Martyrs. I think that's a pick that we kind of wanted to see in the previous game on Euphoria side itself. Ling also gets banned out. GameLab focusing down on that gold lane.
What the heck? I mean, I guess it's worth banning out these heroes, but at the end of the day, I feel like GameLab are kind of set in stone what their composition is supposed to look like. Well, like, what's the flex pick here? What am I not seeing? Are they going to throw Arlott? Are they going to throw Grok into the jungle? They're going to put Arlott into the EXP and then look for a different kind of support? Or
if they pick Fredrin at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. For GameLab, definitely not for Euphoria.
Yeah. Oh, Euphoria. I think this is very straightforward. They know exactly what they want. Yep, they're going to get the Beatrix as well. And now GameLab, how are they going to piece together this draft?
This is the exact same draft from Game 3, barring the lack of the Grok. If I remember correctly, they had the exact same draft, just they don't have the Grok this time, so they need a replacement for that. Franco has been banned out, Aka and Claude gets picked by GameLab. For Esports, looking for a roamer.
Okay, I can respect this. This is a really good adaptation for the side of GameLab here, despite the fact that they've kind of showed their hand in terms of support as well as their EXP laner. The only other jungler that can actually maintain its overall advantage against Euphoria Esports is Disengage, and if we're talking about Disengage, Akai, #1, or arguably the top 3 on the list of Disengage heroes.
Now when you see GameLab, we don't get to see Takenaga on a tank jungler much, right? He's always been on those flashy assassins. Now he's going to be on a slightly different role on that Akai. We get the Ruby last pick for YoshiGod. This is it, the draft set for game number 5. Any conditions that these teams need to fulfill.
I mean, I feel like for Euphoria, they have to win their early game. There's no reason for them not to win the early game at this point of time. I do think that around mid-game is when we're going to see GameLab start to pop off. As soon as they hit level 4, in a matter of fact, there's definite opportunities for first bloods against Euphoria. But it comes down to how well the jungle and mid duo is going to work together. In tandem, in a matter of fact. Dark Knight Falls, expect to see Takenaga sitting right on top of Aizawa and quickly popping that heavy spin to ensure that he does not die, because EUPH technically is a little bit more self-sustaining.
And you know how poetic it is that in the final game, we still go back to the jungle mid interaction, right? Something that we mentioned from the very get-go between Aizawa and Ryujin God, and you see that the different applications. Aizawa really valuing that his individual performance as a laner, but for Ryujin God, it's like, I have my team with me, my team sets me up.
Yep, and beautifully played by, despite having a Grok on their side to slow down that wave, Dogman tried his absolute best with the Nature's Barrier, but look at this. This is the siege that you want to see from ShizoGod, right? Clear the waves fast, immediately start peeling away at that gold plating.
And even getting some chip damage onto EUPH as well. It's not like in the previous game where EUPH can respond. Well, in that case with ShizoGod, but Aizawa stealing the Wanderer away.
Look, it's a best of 5. These players are getting tired and it's starting to get late at night, okay? You can't expect God to always land the abilities.
He has some moments with the Hellcurve.
He has his moments. It's so unlucky, though. That should have been level 4.
Did it get stolen away? Yeah, it did. Takenaga stole it. Instantly hits level 4. Gets the heavy spin. Did force out a flicker from YoshiGod.
Yep, it was about to get a little dangerous there, but in the mid lane, this is what I'm talking about. GameLab controlling this mid lane so well. Dokman, he walks up, Power of Nature's the wave, and immediately starts rotating to make an effect, try to create some pressure, try to create an advantage in the side lanes. And unfortunately for YoshiGod, he kind of just has to follow him.
Yeah, and you know, it's finally a game where you see the game that gets to dictate that early phase, right? And once more, it's the product of having a Grok. Just so annoying to deal with early on. No one can really take him out in a 1v1. Turtle spawning, Euphoria having members down here.
Oh boy. What's really annoying is that as much as... hold on.
Oh, his God, okay. Trying to push a Voss away. They get the pull, and now the lights are turned off. That is the target you want to kill. First blood for Euphoria. And they even walk away with the turtle. Venogod doing it right.
Dang. Nicely done coming in from Euphoria. They notice that the Grok comes out at a bit of an off position, and instantly they pounce on top of that. You can even see that even Ryujin God, he was ready to play Beyblades with Takenaga if it boiled down to it for this neutral objective.
And just like that, Euphoria getting a minor lead, but it's a very crucial one also. Would have been nice if the goal went over to one of the cores, but YoshiGod getting it, it's fine.
Yeah, well, technically, even if ideally ShizoGod gets the kill, but he's having the time of his life up in the top side, right? He is just chunking out, clearing the waves faster than EUPH and slowly chipping away at that gold shielding, so he's always getting more gold. Oh,
again, Dolman pulled in once more. I mean, this Grok is definitely not made of rock in this case. More like pebbles. Well, at least for Takenaga, he was able to get a counter kill onto Venogod. Aizawa still wants to chase. Might have overextended. Shizogod is right there with him. Meanwhile, Rujingod getting pressured by her force. Couldn't get him to tank one more turret shot.
Unfortunate indeed, but Euphoria have definitely changed their game plan here.
Oh, Takenaga. He's in an awkward position. The heavy spin, okay, denied by the pull, and okay, a bit of a miscommunication. Yeah, the Knight is not young anymore.
The Knight is not young. These players are tired. They're not exactly looking like, you know, pristine tip-top shape as we did at game number 1. But now we're starting to see teams getting a little slower on their reactions. Communication starting to falter as well. This is to be expected in a full best of 5.
Yeah, and no, they did have to play a 30-minute game as well, you know, in game 2 or early in the series. And it's been a long day for them, right? The battle of attrition, when you hit to game 5, it really comes down to who has more energy, who is less tired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it so far. And Euphoria, I love their adaptation in the middle of the game. They realize they can't actually get mid-prio, so we're going to call Beatrix to help force us to get prio and then go back up top because Turtle is spawning on that side of the map.
And while that was happening, when Shizogod wasn't around, UTZ actually got all of the plating, all the gold plates, right? So a lot of gold for him, and with the wild charge, instantly deletes this Ruby and Rujingod. He was in no man's land, so he's also gone. UTZ, meanwhile, having the plating duet, fully eaten up by that vengeance from his god, but I don't think Euphoria Esports can contest this. They turn off the lights. Alright, Venogod coming in to help. Her boss getting silenced, and that should be his demise. They're actually dashing away. They will follow it up with their own flicker. But the turtle taken away by Takenaga.
Yep, he gets away with it. I can't believe it. GameLab now bouncing back against Euphoria's initial damage here. And now Headscott showing up to the party.
Try to damage Takenaga, just leaps over the wall.
Oh, look at this GameLab. They actually go for the macro play. They actually switch up the lanes.
And now they put Aizawa up top. GameLab, they're no longer threatened up there. Headscott, he is dashing towards the bot side, but that turret is going to start taking a lot of damage.
Yep, immediately his battle mirror image gets him out of that tight spot, especially when you're up against Headscott on Joy. I mean, no marksman really wants to deal with Joy.
Yep.
So far, so good. Where else can Euphoria try to look for a play on GameLab so far? Because I feel like GameLab, they've got the momentum behind their backs, and especially off of that win in game number 4, you can definitely see the difference.
And you know, Euphoria, they are not willing to commit to the mirror, right? They're not mirroring the swap. So GameLab basically just gave UTZ a better lane and also doing the same for her boss. His god has to deal with this pressure. He can clear the waves, but he's definitely getting punished.
Yeah, they're trying to bait something out of him, and I think, you know, for Euphoria, they see 3 people down here. They know that 2 people are on that top side. Ruby, she needs to start opening up that map. They need to be able to take this turn because Joy can't necessarily do everything against 3 people, despite being immune to CC half the time.
Both teams really putting a lot of emphasis in that goal lane. So at the end of that, both will trade that tier 1 in the side lane, but Venogod, he's trying to protect that mid turret, but he gets knocked back. They can't kill him though. There's the knockup. Venogod able to use the shadow transition, leaps away.
What? What exactly happened there? What pushed him out of position there that Aizawa ends up missing the stun, but now the fight is going to break out.
It's got vengeance onto Aizawa. Aizawa turn dash away, hits the wall instead, and ends up hitting the dirt. Euphoria Esports getting 2, they get the final sweep. Unfortunately, cannot secure the target, and Venogod is on the prowl. Takenaga trying to zone him away. Euphoria Esports coming out with a minor win, transitioning to the turtle.
Yep, they want priority over the turtle. This is how Euphoria plays. They really like their neutral objectives, especially when they have a comp to actually play it out.
Headscott just doing Joy things.
Headscott just doing Joy things.
Glowing One doesn't make it any easier. As a tank, also.
Yeah, eventually he's going to start speccing into like Genius Wand and probably, most likely, the Holy Glaive too, but we'll wait until then. For the most part, Euphoria are currently up a turret. They still haven't been able to break GameLab's tier 1 mid, and if they do, they can start invading the jungle from then on out.
Genius Wand now done for his god. Bot tier 1 taken out by Shizogod while all of that was happening. 2.3k goal advantage for Euphoria Esports. Not the biggest of leads, but the game definitely slowed down a bit. And again, right, they did have a good macro play, but that minor trade earlier on did cost them the lead.
Okay, item power spike for Venogod here. He just got that Sea Halberd. Let's see.
Oh, conceal. Dolman is going to eat all of that. Can he get out though? So much damage. Oh, Dolman barely making that with his life. Takenaga, he's deep in. They're going to pull him back. use that heavy spin to instantly disengage.
Yep, Dogman still making the same mistake as before. He's building a lot of magic resist, but truly it's the physical damage from Venogod that's allowing him to get pretty much almost 100 to 20% of his HP gone instantly.
Yeah, Radiant Armor first item, right? He's more worried about Ryujin God and his God than Venogod. Now he's starting to spec into a bit of that extra armor. It's going to take a while. And that means more space for Euphoria Esports.
Yep, that means for the next about 2 to 3 minutes, Euphoria should be able to get away with picks onto Dokman. And if they, I mean, he's already 0-4. Might as well put him even further behind.
Yeah, and you know, he's always going to be useful when he has the Flicker wild charge, right? It's one of those few heroes that's like, yeah, I can be behind, but my tools are always useful.
Yep, it's always relevant in that game. Now, with 16 seconds left on the clock, you can tell Euphoria, they are posturing for this Lord. GameLab, on the other hand, they need to start doing some housekeeping first before they get back on it. And Yuktizi with the purchase of that Winds of Nature, super important here, especially when you're up against Venogod.
And while that was happening, her voice is also occupied by his god, right? It's running circles around him.
Oh, he's actually winning out that trade.
Yeah, he is. I'm just gonna force his god to reset, but still, her boss needs to deal with that wave. Now Lord getting started just by bit, but it's actually by GameLab themselves.
Yep, the Lord Dance in GameLab's favor so far. It does mean that Havas will make it down to this bottom side of the map. First, nobody's going to try and trade against Joy.
Yeah, I mean, for his god, he is to clear out that wave, so 4 versus 4. Aizawa even used the Feather S right now with no ultimates for the far side. They're going to engage. Dogman gets a 2-man knockup, but Venogod just flipped the light switch, and now they're going to try and burst down the Lord. GameLab not ready to respond in any way. Takenaga, he is out of there. Euphoria gets away with burglary.
That was on. I can't. What? I'm more confused about what GameLab was doing there. Like, Euphoria Esports, they saw what was happening, and even with Headsgod noticing that Havas decided to walk up into his lane to try and proxy the wave, means that Headsgod can actually go interact with the wave, quickly make a move down, honestly sacrifice it if he needs to. Wait, no.
Havas, he's
alive?
Not anymore. To find eventually they use the flicker from Ryujin God. Euphoria Esports, they want this mid tier 1, and now UTD tries to go in, blazing duet, good knockout, follow up from Takenaga is dead. Get rid of Ryujin God. GameLab protect this tier 1.
Man, we are seeing the inconsistencies with the teams. They are slowing down significantly. It's not as crisp, not as clean. Here we go, the engage!
Ultimate cancel by Takenaga. Good heavy spin, but he just gets gunned down mid-spin. Shizogod does not give a damn about this Panda.
Venogod finally gave the Malefic Roar as well. This is Euphoria's time to put their foot on the gas. Without their ultimates, though, they're probably going to let go of a lot of the pressure, and especially since GameLab still have a majority of their tools. Just let them have it. We've already got what we want.
Honestly, this is... I didn't know that you could still shoot while getting knocked back by the heavy spin.
I mean, there are frames of opportunity, you see. The weird thing about the heavy spin is even if you're pressed against the wall, for some reason there are small windows of opportunity to actually flicker over the wall or flicker away from the heavy spin entirely. Don't know why that's the case, it just is.
It's a funny interaction.
Yep.
And Takenaga just disappeared. Like, okay.
Okay, cool. I guess my mini stuns don't matter.
That ability had one job and couldn't do it right.
Frustration, of course, but in terms of the damage leaderboards, we're seeing, you know, both of these EXP laners chunking out members of the opposing faction. And in terms of gold earned, Yuktizi, Shizogod, as expected.
When you look at the gold to damage ratio, it is not even close. The top 2 damage dealers are Joy and Beatrix. And they are 10k more than 10k ahead of Yuktizi, of the Claude.
Yep.
It's not even fair.
It really isn't fair. But at this point, Euphoria, I think, you know, they have their composition is all about responding to GameLab, right? So the more GameLab tries to make a move, the better it is for Euphoria. And if they are a man down, Euphoria can instantly call the nuclear strike.
And one curse will be broken. High chance, at least, you know, Grog not winning a game. But still a red side win so far. And I mean, look at that damage.
Okay.
So BOD, Malefic Roar. What else are we missing?
So much damage coming out from Shizogod. I mean, he honestly just needs those 3 items, right? Now, he's already got that Winds of Nature to protect himself against people like Havas, people like Yuktizi if he comes in with the Blazing Duet.
Oh,
man,
again?
Come on!
The support for GameLab is strong, but Euphoria is looking stronger in this game. Aizawa is like, wow, I just show up in lane. Just give me a break.
Yeah, he has to recall again. It's like, come on,
Yes.
man. But do they know, though? Do they know? Yeah, they don't know that he recalled so early on, and they're just going to reset this Lord all over again. GameLab, they don't mind dragging this out. Now, the problem I had with GameLab earlier was the fact that Havas did not rotate when he was supposed to, and instead, they dragged this out, and Euphoria instantly punished them in a 4v4.
They even used the feather airstrike, right? Euphoria was watching that happen.
Like, I don't understand what exactly happened to cause that situation, but Euphoria, they'll take it.
I mean, he's getting pushed back, so that's good for Voss. Oh, terrified Takenaga forced to use a heavy spin. UTZ going right in and hitting no one with a Blazing Duet. They might at least get Yoshi God, but Shizugat is ready to pick up the pace. Venogod securing the Lord. Good flank from Havas, getting rid of Yoshi God. Ryujin God also goes down, and Shizo God soon to follow. GameLab finally getting a good fight.
Yup, Euphoria made the choice of taking the Lord, but their members, their frontliners, could not take that sort of damage, especially in a 5v5 fight. And that's when you expect to see Havas, who comes in at the very last second when it matters the most. Now, look at this, right? In this entire reaction, they get to push out Takenaga. It feels like they should be able to get this, but immediately GameLab switched their mindset. We want to fight. Focus on that front line. Let's play front to front, and we will win this. Havas is in the right position and gets an amazing final slash to allow the rest of GameLab to slowly collapse. And Heads God, where is he in this fight?
And he was forced to reset, right, by Havas, and that's the one time that Havas, his pressure really worked out. And also, you know, for Yuktz, even though Blazing Duet didn't hit much, it forced Euphoria to disperse into the win. And Euphoria, they want to try and escort this Lord, but the Lord is very unhealthy. He's just going to dive right in. Oh, he's all alone. Heavy Speed pins him into the wall. He has the Vengeance to keep himself alive, and that's more than enough for Venogod to jump right in. They turn off the lights. Havas is low. Shizogod just ready to snipe any survivors, and Havas goes down for almost 40 seconds.
Woo! Beautifully played coming in from Euphoria. Nicely done by Heads God to sustain that type of damage and forcing Aizawa to actually go outside of the map with the wings by wings to protect himself. If not, he just becomes a target to the beat. Now, Euphoria are in a very peculiar situation, right? Because even though they've got this massively pushing wave, they're not getting any inhibitors despite it being the second Lord of the game. And that shouldn't be the case. By the second Lord, you need to get some sort of advantage. In terms of the macro play, I do think that GameLab is basically even with Euphoria despite the 3K gold lead.
Yeah, this is the most even game that we had, at least at the 15-minute mark.
Well, I would say that this is also one of the most unclean games from both of these teams, both making their own little blunders here and there.
That is true.
Let's see how this plays out, right? I feel like Euphoria, they're starting to get a little sloppy here, and GameLab, they're taking full advantage of the situation. As long as they don't lose an inhibitor, their macro should be fine, and they never have to actually answer the 50-50 if Euphoria starts to split push.
And look at that damage leaderboard. I mean, his God, he is leaps and bounds ahead.
I mean, he is getting deep in there, man.
No,
He is.
He is 1v5ing.
I think that's the idea for Joy. It's one of the few characters you can actually get away with.
Yeah.
With that being said, Euphoria, let's see how they're spread of the map, right? 26 more seconds until the Lord spawns. GameLab, they want to control this mid lane as much as they can, but Havas has to make sure that he matches Heads God on that push.
And Heads God doesn't have time to push out that bot wave of another wave down bot, so Havas doesn't have to worry about it, right? It's stagnant in the middle side. Heads God is going to return to that. So he will be late if they want to go for the Lord Dance.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, GameLab, their front line is getting more and more durable. It feels like Euphoria, they don't have the same durability, right? You only have Yoshi God that's going to be able to tank the damage. But for GameLab, they have Dortmund, they have Havas, they have Takenaga.
Yep, and that's the worst part about it, because unfortunately for Yoshi God, he's on a Ruby. You don't exactly have a lot of base stats to survive a lot of this damage. No commitment onto Heads God just yet. Very good choice by GameLab.
Now the Lord Dance begins. This third Lord, Euphoria, if Euphoria can get it, then great. Break inhibitors. Oh my goodness, the damage! Where did Dortmund go? It was supposed to be a tank, but I guess not. Takenaga, he's out. He's spinning to safety. Yuktz also forced back. This is a free Lord for Euphoria.
Yep, and all of this because Havas was just not in that fight. Like, the backline gets threatened almost straight away. It looks like they almost get that initial pick, but as soon as that light turns off, you lose track of all your senses. And this is a level 15. This is level 15 on this Helker, so that means it's maxed out on the Dark Knight Falls because you have very little vision. Like, it's basically a tiny circle around you at this point.
Look at that. I I guess I was wrong. I take that back. I thought GameLab was durable. Apparently not.
I mean, Dogman, he does not. Oh, he only has the Dominance Ice. He went straight into Immortality. Rather strange there. I would like to see him try to build into the Anti-Cuirass. Maybe even go for the Twilight Armor if necessary. I don't think it's necessary because the Anti-Cuirass is just so much better right now.
And his god instantly runs in. He is not afraid at all. No Feather Airstrike for GameLab. Aizawa used it to try and clear the wave, and even then, we're not able to defend, clear the entire wave. Top inhibitor down. Euphoria looking for the mid one. Takenaga getting engaged. Vandal God pinned to the wall. And that's the immortality gone. But GameLab, they need a bit more of that push. They need more juice in that damage. Takenaga scurrying away, making it up with his life. Euphoria Esports, though, do get both inhibitors.
Great. That's already a great play. Unfortunately for them, they won't be able to back up that bottom inhibitor at the very that bottom wave to take down the inhibitor because they just don't have enough resources to do so. There's no point in fighting right now. They just have to set up for the next neutral objective, similarly to how they got these past two Lords.
And GameLab actually mounting a pretty commendable defense overall. They did get the immortality out of Venom God. Dolman, this big conceal play. Her voice is gonna get gone by his god. Takenaga is quite far away as well. They might lose Dolman. They're not even there with the team. And GameLab, now they have lost their chance to engage. Everyone on the run. Her voice, slow down, pull back. Immortality is gonna be gone. They try to protect him with the Feather Airstrike, but there's no damage. Yuktizi, he wants an angle, but there's no angle for him. Venogod switches off the light just in case GameLab wants to try something funny. And that's too dead for GameLab.
That's super unfortunate for GameLab. Man, Dogman, he's got to realize that his itemization is wrong right now. He doesn't have enough armor to actually deal with Shizogod, who is utilizing Weapons Master. So even with the steel leg plates, it's just not enough. Even if he got the Anti-Cuirass, he needs at least 3 defensive items, 3 armor improving items to make this work.
Aizawa getting sniped near the base. Takenaga losing most of his health. Feather Airstrike. This is big! Dolman is in! But they need a bit more. Immortality pop on the side of Euphoria Esports, but they end up losing Dolman instead. And that guy did his very best, and they still couldn't get a kill.
What a perfect time to fight. They got all the resources out of Euphoria Esports. They have to do the housekeeping, but immediately the resets must come out of Euphoria to contest for this Lord. Holy cow, Dogman is like, I made a mistake, I'm gonna make sure that it was worthwhile, and even then, he still ends up dying. The best play that he's made so far with a flicker wild charge right from spawn and a quick follow-up from Aizawa just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and just the gold deficit, right? They were way too far behind to make use of it. Now Dolman, he's down for a while more. They need to contest the Lord. It's not going to be easy. Dolman up in 2 seconds, but they might not have 2 seconds to work with. Takenaga is in. Instantly, Venogod switches off the light. Pops the immortality. They don't need to rush this Lord down. Takenaga is gone. Euphoria Esports might have just found that final blow onto GameLab. 2 kills for Shizogod, 3 versus 5, and the base is wide open.
They've done it. They've done it here. And Shizogod will get his Winds of Nature to guarantee that there's no way he dies except for Aizawa. So Aizawa, he's looking for Shizogod. If Dolman can pull this off again without his flicker in the next 23 seconds, that would be incredible. Yuktizi has to be so clean and careful.
Final defense for GameLab, and Euphoria, they can smell it. Everyone crowns GameLab as the demigods, but Euphoria right in for the jugular. With the Lord coming in, Dolman loses his immortality, and those who are unfaithful will not prevail. Euphoria does it again. 3 times in a row, they take down GameLab, $20,000 US, and the title as the champions for the Snapdragon Pro Series Challenge Finals.
GG, well played to Euphoria Esports! They've done it! After a long, crucial battle, they out-macro it. They made GameLab feel uncomfortable with Hellcurrent, and when it really mattered, that Dark Knight Falls confuses the opponents to help them secure the win. Well done, Euphoria Esports. Well deserved.
When GameLab turns off their lights to sleep tonight, it's going to be a different nightmare. But for Euphoria, again, all the series that they fought against GameLab, they've been able to gatekeep GameLab. But props to GameLab, this was the closest that they've ever gotten to beating